and diamond, Jubilee.
The AKB48 Grand Seiko, I made a video about this, and if you haven't seen it, link in the description. It's got kind of an interesting story about it. We'll see this in detail later. A 16570, this was made between 1981 and 1988. This example was made in 1987. You can see it has a Swiss-only dial. It should have a tritium dial, so that's a replacement dial. My guess is replacement hands and probably the bezel as well. All right, this is a watch you don't see often. This is a 1530, and this was made in the 70s. Up until prior to 1977, when the Oysterquartz came out. This watch predates the Oysterquartz. You can definitely see the influence on the Oysterquartz in that angular case and bracelet. This is a mechanical watch, and you can see the rehaut has the minute markers, and pretty decently priced if you consider there's an estimated less than 1,500 of these watches, and a great way to have that Oyster case, but a mechanical watch. This particular example comes with box only, no papers. I imagine papers on a vintage watch like this would add thousands to the price. Speak of the devil, an Oysterquartz. Oysterquartzes were first produced in 1977, and they were the first Rolex watches to use the sapphire crystal. This has a smooth bezel and an oyster bracelet. This Oysterquartz has a fluted bezel and a more Jubilee-esque version of that Oysterquartz bracelet. A couple months ago, I was thinking I might be in the market for an Oysterquartz, and I had found these watches on the internet. Especially, I was looking at the smooth-bezeled oyster braceleted Oysterquartz. That was the cheapest in Japan. It was being sold in Osaka, and I knew I was going there. So I remember asking Brandon, hey, do you know where Jubilee is? And he said yes, and I thought, well, let's check out these Oysterquartz, and here they are. You can see the dates of production, and this is the cheapest Oysterquartz in Japan and possibly the world. Now this example comes with box papers. We'll see the box in a second, but if you look at the indices at the 8 and the 4, you can see the lume dots, the tritium lume dots are gone, and that's unfortunate. So you can see a wrist shot there. It looks all right. It doesn't really go with my clothes, and yeah, it's okay. I guess that's the best I could say about it. And you can see those missing lume dots in detail there. Now, aside from a dial replacement, there's not a lot that can be done other than just getting over it. And, you know, a dial replacement would be expensive. It would make the watch unoriginal. So I think there are better pieces out there to go for. So no thanks on this one. Here's the fluted bezel example, and this is a newer watch, 1985, as opposed to 1978, which the prior one was. All the lume dots are intact. This is $400 more. This comes with no box, no papers. There it is, looking okay on my wrist. Now you'll see the box to the other watch, the one with the missing lume dots, and I asked them, I said, would you include this box with the 1985 version if I were to get it? And it was a pretty clear and distinct and quick no. So they won't mix and match boxes. And here they are side by side. Now, I walked out of there seriously thinking about that one on the right, but I wanted to give myself some time to think about it. And to be honest, by lunchtime, I had totally changed my mind and I had totally lost interest. So why? Yeah, it just didn't feel right. And I just wasn't so crazy about the watch. And really, I'm more of a sports watch guy. For around the same kind of money as one of those Oysterquartz, you could get the 1601 pipe hand dial date just. You got the traditional Jubilee bracelet, fluted bezel. It's got the more traditional date just shape to it. Acrylic crystal versus sapphire glass, but aesthetically more to my liking. A 35mm Patek comes with box, no papers, no second hand. For that kind of money, I'm thinking a no date sub would be what I would get. Patek 5009. On the tag in Japanese it says gondola, and it does have that tank style case. It's a manual wind watch and comes with box and papers. Various Omegas. I'll let you pause the video and Google the reference numbers. I always seem to be drawn to the white dialed Speedmasters. In this shop, the black tags are pre-owned watches and the white tags are for new watches. The sheer number of variations on the Speedmaster is pretty astounding. You can see from the color of the tags, the two on the left are pre-owned, the two on the right are brand new. First time ever seeing the Tudor P01. I would have liked to have played with the bezel, but they had it wrapped in plastic. On the tag, there are two prices. The one in red is what they're selling it for. The smaller price in black is the retail price. A pre-owned Tudor GMT in the middle and the one on the left and right are new. The two new pieces are selling at a premium, but the margin's pretty small, so talking about bubbles popping, I think the Tudor GMT bubble will pop.
Amazon already automatically deducts the 5%, right? These guys say they don't deduct it. Your bank will do it, and now they're checking if this card, if they will do it. I don't know.
All right, that's Chris talking about processing fees. And let me just say, he loved this watch. He was enamored with it, and he actually went back the next day to get it. But he didn't want to pay the credit card processing fees, and so they tried to negotiate something. It came down to $40. They were quibbling over $40. The store wouldn't budge. Chris wouldn't budge. Deal never happened. So, can you make deals in Japan? Maybe, but hey, in this shop, they wouldn't budge. $40. He walked out of there without the watch. Explorer 2 is a 42 millimeter on the right, 40 millimeter on the left. That's a Swiss only dial, and that's an A serial. So, hey, I just made a video today saying A serials can come with that Swiss only dial. Explorer's on the left. On the far left, that's a 36 millimeter Explorer, and then to the right, that's a Mark 1 dial 39 millimeter Explorer. Mark 1 dial, meaning that's the first dial variation that came on the 39 millimeter Explorer with the non-loomed solid gold 3, 6, and 9, and the shorter minute hand. Ceramic subs in the front, pre-ceramic subs in the back. Kermit on the left, Hulk in the middle, Surdy dial two-tone sub on the right. That's a Z serial, pre-owned Kermit. Looking at the tag, it doesn't seem to come with box or papers. That's always a shame because the Kermit's such a collectible watch. The Hulk has box and papers. I hate to say it, but I think I'm coming around to these blingy subs. The two on the left, pre-ceramic, the one on the right, that's a ceramic sub. A trio of GMTs on the left. I love those, I guess they're rubies at the 6, 9, and 12. And then you have in the middle 16700. That's a straight GMT box and papers. Or for the same price, you could get the 16710. That's the GMT Master 2 K serial, but no box and papers. For me, I'd go with that middle all black. 3 pre-ceramic Daytonas. I think I'd go with the white dial. I think that's the best looking, but you really can't go wrong this day and time with any Daytona. Every single one has box and papers. And to the left, you can see a ceramic Daytona, black dial. White gold on a rubber strap. Another white gold Daytona, but this one has a meteorite dial, which I love meteorite dials. I just wish they put them in steel watches. Gold Daytonas, every single one, and just about every one selling below retail. What does that say about gold watches? Some sporty Pateks and Aquanaut right there on the left, and Nautilus. And some Patek cufflinks. Check out the prices of those cufflinks. All right, a pair of cufflinks or a steel Datejust. I'm on the fence. Tough choice. This is the dedicated Archie luxury section.
fee